Good morning, everyone. Welcome to River City Plus, the show after the show. I feel like we should call this the curtain call since we're going full theater vibes today. What do you think?
I like the full theater vibe. So we've got Jason Wood, actor, producer, director, right? I mean, is there anything you don't do? Wait, we can't say that on camera.
Dishes and laundry.
Man after my own heart. I guess we'll never work out just because nothing would ever get done around the house. But lots gets done on stage. Now, we've had you in here before. Literally, you sold out your show while we were live, which is really
Thank you.
exciting.
Unbelievable.
So we're going to do a deeper dive into the process of what it's like to be an actor, producer, putting on different productions. And we were talking about, so this show is off-Broadway, or is that how we get off-Broadway based? Jana's more theatrically and music production motivated. But so this show is off-Broadway based, but it's coming to Jacksonville. It's going to be at Atlantic Beach, and there's a lot of different levels to it. But first off, just want to talk a little bit about your experience with this show in New York.
It was 30 days of the best days, just 30 of the best days of my life. I was there walking around Times Square with a stupid grin on my face when it kind of dawned on me that I was there doing characters that I wanted to play, that I had created. And there's so many actors that are always auditioning for parts. And if they don't get it, they don't have a job. And I just sort of realized that it's really special to be in an off-Broadway production and that a lot of actors would give a pinky to do it. And here I was because Jacksonville helped send me there. So I felt blessed every day. I didn't have a single bad day.
That is a great way to look at it. Now, we got to touch on this a bit on the show, just the difference in Broadway and off-Broadway. And you mentioned something to us when we were coming off that's really the genesis. I don't think a lot of people make that connection that off-Broadway is where a lot of Broadway is born. Can you talk to us about that really like testing ground that is off-Broadway? Because it's really equally as cutthroat.
It is, and also just technically, if it has 99 seats or less, that's off-Broadway. And when you get over 99 and you get into higher numbers, so just technically speaking, but there are some productions that happen in New York where people are like, yeah, it's off-Broadway because it's here. It's just the fact that you're there and you're doing it in the mecca of theater in the United States. And then I think you were asking me about the energy and you know, it was a place to do it where other incredible shows have happened. Like Hamilton started off Broadway and then grew into whatever it was, this monster that it is right now. It's just this magnificent piece of Well, but not only that, but a satisfying piece of art that people actually will treasure and cherish and cultivate. It's going to have a long, long, long life. It's just incredible. So you never know, and small beginnings are important. And what I love about it is it's so similar to what happens in theater locally. You know, it's just a matter of getting up there, and it's still, just because you do it off Broadway doesn't mean the work is done. There's still a lot of work to do.
Yep. So for people who are continually seeing kind of the deterioration of typical governmental funding when it comes to the arts in schools, the arts where we used to typically find them, what would you say to people who are debating being a patron of the arts when we're seeing a constant growing demand for it, but not a constant backing of it financially from the standard sources?
Yeah. Well, if there are any patrons watching and you're on the fence about whether or not to give to the arts, please do. You'll also find that when you have a hardship in your life, art is what you'll turn to. During the pandemic, I had a sense that everybody felt scared. Everybody was at home. Nobody could do anything. So I turned on Facebook Live and I started reading Harry Potter. And I just played all the characters and just read the book to people a chapter a night. And then it occurred to me, all of these actors are sitting at home. Why don't they join me? And so they started dressing in costumes and they changed their background. So we did Harry Potter. We went back and did the first book again, then the second, then the third. And then we did The Princess Bride. Then we did Star Wars and Charlotte's Web. We had some incredible people in Jacksonville, people who aren't even actors. Hope McMath was our narrator for Charlotte's Web. She's a powerhouse of a leader. But you see, everybody turned to art for comfort. They turned to art for something that they need. If you were feeling lost, if you were feeling scared, you had that to get you through those times. So We need money, just like we need people who can sing and dance, people who are good on camera with the news. We need those things as resources. Well, we need resources too, and not. I'm not asking for anything from me. I'm saying ABET Theater, all of these theaters around town, dance companies, artists need
Players by
funding.
the Beach. I mean, there's so many. Like, we actually have a phenomenal artistic community here. It's so impressive. I mean, the Jacksonville Children's Chorus that we had recently, like, they've, there have been students there that have gone on to Broadway, but it starts at such a young level. And also, too, something that community theater offers is an opportunity for maybe people who wanted theater in their life and maybe other chapters of their book got read first, like kids, like adulting, like bills, like all the really inconvenient things. Well, I guess kids aren't inconvenient. Sorry, guys. All those other things that sometimes
You didn't mean it that way. I totally know what you mean.
I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it.
Yeah.
But all those things that sometimes can block that big dream that you had, it gives you that chapter to be read at a new time in your life. And I think that's
Yeah.
really unique about theater on the local level.
Yeah, and on the local level is where everything begins, and where some productions are actually even better than things I've seen in New York. I don't think it's worth it to try to separate the difference between community theater and whatever level you want to aspire to. It's community theater is important. It's a haven for people. It's a learning ground for people, and it gives people on a local level who aren't going to go to New York, who aren't going to drive across town to see a production that's touring, just the chance to see quality art right there and have that electricity you and I were talking about with a live performance.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about this production. This is another one where you put it all together, one-man show. You're playing 9 characters. Your makeup team must be mind-blowing.
So I don't wear makeup. I don't change costumes. And I don't believe there's any such thing as a one-man show. I happen to be the actor who's playing the characters. I happen to be the writer. I happen to be the composer. But I have a guy who's running lights and sound. I have a publicist named Gene. My lights and sound guy is Bryce. My costumer for Off-Broadway was Nicole. My stage manager was Laura. My director was Michelle. I mean, it goes on, and I couldn't do it without those people. So I truly don't believe there is. Now, about the show though,
Right.
the fun stuff. Yes, I play these characters, but it's not makeup, it's not costumes. It's just changing your posture, and maybe changing your voice. Like, eventually I become Winifred Isabel Titania Charlotte Higgins. My initials spell witch. Can you believe my mother almost named me Brando? And then
I'm like dying because y'all saw me try to do voices in here last week, and y'all were like, everything just kind of sounds like Borat the pirate. Like, I couldn't make it happen.
Wait,
And
before you go deeper into that, that's something that's really integral when it comes to acting and performance. Like, it's not how you look, it's how you present it. And just then I saw that transformation.
Right.
Some little body mannerisms and some look. I got you.
yeah.
Even between Jasper and Casper, two of your characters.
Yeah, so Jasper's like a younger version of me, and we mean really younger. And then Casper is, he thinks he's the greatest actor in the world, and you see the difference in his posture and the lips, the way his lips curl and the way his eyes sparkle, and Jasper's like, you've got to be kidding me. So there's a big difference between those characters. One of my favorites is the dragon. I love to play the dragon, and that's when.
That's me before coffee. I'm like,
Oh, we don't know if he's good or not, but I tell you, in honor of you guys, I wrote a little something for the dragon to say. As soon as I was done and we sold the last 6 tickets, I was so touched that happened that I wrote a little ode to WJXT, and I'll read it as the dragon if you let me.
Oh,
yes.
please
Oh my
do.
gosh, I'm dying to talk about it.
WJXT is my favorite station, the home for news, sports, and weather speculation. If you feel stressed, tune in and relax. You're in good hands with News for Jacks. They feature art, music, and dance, hosted by beautiful Jana and the handsome Rance. This morning I was a guest on River City Live. I'm honored to be here for the extra deep dive.
Oh my god!
Here for it.
That was so good.
You're crying.
Here, I'll hold this for a sec. That was amazing. A little freestyle off the. So, so how old were you when you figured out that you had I guess a talent for performing?
And that you were good.
Well, you see, man. You see, no. I was playing baseball and we lost, and I hated it because somebody always lost, somebody always won, and somebody always felt bad. And no offense, I love sports, and this is a sports town. I get it. Mm-hmm. So sports are not bad, but for me, I personally didn't enjoy it. I'd rather root for people than do it. Now I play pickleball every day, but we were in a park and we heard people cheering and clapping, and I walked around this building and there was this kid on a wire and there was this audience below him and Lost Boys and Pirates and a crocodile, and I go, I know that's Peter Pan. How is that happen? It was in a book. How is that happening here? And I dropped my baseball glove and I looked at my mother and I said, I want to do that, because I saw kids doing it. So I knew I wanted to do it, and next thing you know, I'm auditioning and I'm in, and the director comes up to me and I'm like 9. He says, "You're very good." You see that encouragement? Mm-hmm. So I took a piece of that with me, and I love directing more than performing. Performing is about me, right? Mm-hmm. I try to make it about the audience that I'm with. But when I'm directing, maybe you're unsure, maybe, because everybody gets the jitters, right? And I just want to see you do something that you didn't know you could do. I love that part of it. I discovered that later in life, that I was a director, though. Maybe I was just afraid to do it. And that's the lesson, kids. Don't be afraid. Go out there and conquer everything.
Or be afraid and do it anyways,
Enough about me. Let's talk about you. What do you think about me?
I think you're incredibly talented. And frankly, I think it's so brave to take something that you made. I mean, I know I feel it on this show every day because, what a lot of people don't know is Rance and I put this together. We book the guest, Vaughn books the guest. Like, we create this every day. Yes, so, yes. And it's real easy for somebody to throw a tomato at it, to say something bad about it. And, and it's,
they haven't done it.
And those things are challenging, but that's the reality. But I think you're so incredibly impressive that you've built this life that you're happy with, that's beautiful, that fulfills you. What was your mom's reaction when you dropped your glove?
Oh, she's a mother.
Yeah.
Okay. And she drove me to rehearsal. She had, if you can remember, here's how old I am, kids, an old tape recorder. And she was recording rehearsals, and we still have the tape of me singing "Food, Glorious Food" as Oliver. And I'm 10 years old, and she has that. That was her reaction. Yeah. And I love what you said about that. You guys do create something every day. And I think a lot of people don't know this. Like in theater, it's one thing to get a script from a company and just interpret it on stage. It takes creativity, but it's not creation. The creation's been done, right? What you're doing every day from scratch, it does take bravery. And I wasn't aware that it took bravery until I realized the only thing stopping me from creating it was me. So then so the hard part is choosing. So if you're on the fence, if you're a writer, director, whatever you are, it doesn't even have to be arts, just do it. If you want to do it, it's worth doing badly.
That's what I was going to ask. Well, so I was going to ask what you would say to somebody that, like, is on the fence about whatever their choice.
Get off the fence.
But just do it. But also, we've had some conversations. We had Akon on with us the other week, and we were talking about his start. And he's like, I was behind the scenes before I got in front. And then we had a discussion about how much more fulfilling it is. You were talking about from a spiritual, personal, but him was the same for him, but also maybe not in this iteration for you, but it's like behind the scenes is where the real action is, and then that's a lot of times where the real money is.
Well, so your viewers may not know that there's two guys over here who are making. You can't do it without them. You got to have them. You got to have them. Yeah. No, behind the scenes is everything. You come and see my show. It's 90 minutes. People say, "How did he do that?" Well, you didn't see me walking around the lake with my dogs. I have 2 King Charles Cavalier Spaniels. They're my babies. Walking with my dog and going, should I do this? This is awful. This is terrible. I've got to do it. I'm not going to learn how to make it better unless I do it badly. and maybe it'll be good. I don't know. So you have to jump.
So show is sold out, but they're for April. Oh, so the April thing. All right, so you guys support your locals. There's still opportunity. So the April show is sold out. There's a May show and a June show. If people want to connect with you, get those tickets. Tell them where to get them.
Jason Woods Productions. Oh, look at that. You guys are good. Jason Woods Productions. If you Google Jason Woods or Jasper and Casper, you'll find me. It'll be easy to find the tickets. And I'm partnering with the lovely All Beaches Experimental Theater. And we're going to be in lovely Atlantic Beach at the Adele Grange. It's a small, intimate venue. We're just so excited. We have guests coming from Tampa and New York to see the show. We just love that it's happening here.
Jacksonville on the come, people. So, Jason, break a leg. We look forward to seeing the productions and how everything turns out.
Thank you, Rance.
I love that voice. Just says something to me.
It says it's almost time for Bearded Pig. Oh, sorry. Advertisement.
It's all good. All right. So, so as a dragon, we sign off a particular way. So we will have more River City Plus tomorrow at 10:15. But make sure you tune in at 9:30 for more. You with us, Dragon?
River City Live.